kids, welcome back to our Kids Ministry program for this week. And as we've been saying, we've been looking at the new theme, Bible treasure, and the things that are contained in God's words. God's word is like a treasure. Now I've got here a treasure map. Yes, look at that, fantastic treasure map. And you know what? I'm going to be looking for the buried treasure. The problem is, I was looking at this map and trying to work out where the treasure is buried. I mean, it could be buried over here under the palm tree. It could be buried over here where the mountains and the hills are, or maybe down here with these trees, or perhaps it could be buried with the ship over there. I can see a whole lot of skulls and things buried down there. Maybe it's buried there. There's a spade over here in this part of the map. Maybe someone's dug the hole and buried it. How do you know where the treasure is buried in a treasure map? I mean, it could be anywhere in that. I suddenly realised, when you're looking at a treasure map, X marks the spot of the buried treasure. Can you see where the X is in the map? There's the X down there. That must be the place where the treasure is buried. So I'm going to have to follow my map until I get to the X to find the buried treasure. The Bible is full of treasure, as we've talked about, but you need to know where to look. You need to know your way around the Bible. You need to learn about the Bible. And that's one of the things we're going to be talking about today in today's program. The treasure that's in God's Word and how to find it. So kids, I hope you enjoy the program today, and I'll see you later.
We worship you, Lord. We lift you high. God of all generations, from the front to the back, from side to side, jump, jump. Our generation won't hesitate to shout your praise, your praise. There's a cry in each of our hearts for all of you and nothing but you, my Jesus, my Jesus. I lift my praise up to you, Lord. You're all I ever need. I lift my praise up to you, Lord. You're never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love never fails, it never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love. On and on and on and on it goes. It overwhelms and satisfies my soul. And I never ever have to be afraid. One thing remains. Yeah, one thing remains. Your love never fails, it never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love never fails, it never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love never fails, it never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love, your love, in death, in life, I'm confident and covered by the power of your great love. My debt is paid, there's nothing that can separate my heart from your great love. Your love never fails, it never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love never fails, it never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love never fails, it never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love, your love.
Do any of you know the story of the Titanic? The Titanic was considered to be the greatest ship ever built. It was a cruise liner designed to carry passengers all the way from Europe to America and back. When the Titanic launched in 1912, her owners boasted that she was unsinkable. Anyone want to guess what happened? Well, she struck an iceberg and sank to the bottom of the ocean. It wasn't until 1985 that the treasure hunter Bob Ballard was finally able to send a submarine down to the depths to find the Titanic. The ship was so deep in the icy cold waters, it was unreachable for decades. The technology to send a submarine that deep simply did not exist, and explorers had to wait for the right tools to become available that would allow them to reach the Titanic. But when that submarine went down to the bottom of the ocean, explorers knew what they were looking for. They had photos and drawings of the Titanic. They knew every corner of the ship, inside and out, and they were thrilled when the deep water sub sent back the very first images of the long-lost ship. Knowing what you're looking for is often a problem for treasure hunters. Some treasures are so old that myth and legend have made it hard for treasure hunters to know what it is they're looking for. Even after they find it, they have to do more research to make sure it's the right thing. But some treasures are very easy to spot, and one of those treasures is the wisdom of God. Wisdom from the Lord can help us to make tough choices, and it can guide us in making decisions and dealing fairly with others. Wisdom helped one of the kings of Israel to become one of the best and most respected rulers of his day. And this is a story about him, King Solomon. This is from 1 Kings chapter 3, verses 4 to 15. While Solomon was at Gibeon, the Lord came to him in a dream during the night, and God said, "Ask for anything you want, and I'll give it to you." Solomon answered, "You are very kind to your servant, my father, David. He obeyed you, and he was honest and lived right, and you showed great kindness to him when he allowed his son to be king after him. Lord my God, you have allowed me to be king in my father's place, but I am like a little child. I do not have the wisdom I need to do what I must. I am a servant, and I am here amongst your chosen people. There are too many of them to count, so I ask that you give me wisdom. Then I can rule the people in the right way. Then I will know the difference between right and wrong. Without wisdom, it is impossible to rule your people." The Lord was pleased that Solomon had asked him for this. So God said to him, "You did not ask for a long life, and you did not ask for riches for yourself. You didn't ask for death of your enemies, and since you asked for wisdom to make the right decisions, I'll give you what you asked. I'll give you wisdom and understanding. Your wisdom will be greater than anyone's ever had in the past, and there will never be anyone in the future like you. Also, I will give you what you didn't ask for. I will give you riches and honor. During your life, no other king will be as great as you. I ask you to follow me and obey my laws and commands. Do this as your father David did, and if you do, I will give you a long life. God offered Solomon anything. Anything. Had God given the same offer to other kings of his day, those kings would have asked for land or gold or maybe palaces or horses. Solomon chose wisdom because he wanted to be a good king. His choice made him not only a great king, but also a wise teacher. Kings and queens from around the known world came to visit Solomon and to learn from him. God even blessed Solomon with riches beyond his imagination because of his wise choice. But Solomon knew that all the treasure in the world was meaningless compared to knowing God and his writings, and he urges us to seek the same treasure that he did. When people think of wisdom, they think of making good choices. Having wisdom can help us know the difference between right and wrong. It can keep us from giving into temptation. It can help us to choose to obey God in the face of peer pressure. But wisdom is more than knowing the right answers. It's knowing the right attitude. Wisdom helps us to stay humble. And it helps us to remember that we are God's children. The more wisdom we gain, the more we realize how much we still don't know. Wisdom causes us to dive deeper into God's word so we can gain more wisdom. Wisdom allows us to share the gospel. When your friends see you making wise choices, they'll come to you for advice. God will give you the opportunity to share your wisdom, but more than that, he'll give you the opportunity to share Jesus with others. Wisdom isn't hard to find. The entire Bible is full of wisdom, and it includes a few books written by Solomon himself. But wisdom takes discipline. It takes a daily effort to sit down and read the Bible. It means we need to spend a little less time on video games and TV and a little more time with God. Wisdom is a great treasure, one that will change your life and others' lives. Wisdom is a treasure that you can begin seeking today. The first step is to being wise enough to seek it. Make an effort this week to seek God's wisdom.
This is it, Millie. Cave X.
Finally!
The treasure of a pirate captain is in this cave. I can smell it.
You can?
Of course I can. I'm a treasure hunter. I know the smell of pirate treasures.
Oh, what does it smell like?
Well, it's sort of, you know.
No, I don't know.
It's kind of treasury with a hint of piratiness.
I think you're making it up.
Trust me, it smells a lot different than a king's treasure.
Well, where is it?
Well now, when we see it...
Do you even know what it looks like?
Of course I do.
So tell me.
It's a box.
What kind of box?
You know, a treasure box.
What colour?
Well, it's reddish, maybe brownish or bluey.
Bluey?
Probably has some gold trim with a hinged top, unless it's not hinged.
You have no idea what it looks like.
That's not true.
Then how can it be reddish and brownish and bluey?
Millie, you just don't get it, do you?
No, West Virginia Jones, you don't get it. How are we supposed to find treasure if we don't know what we're looking for?
I don't know. I just figured we'll know it when we see it. That's how you do it. Like King Solomon.
Solomon knew exactly what he was doing. When God asked him what he wanted, he said wisdom.
What a wise guy.
That was the idea.
I'm sorry, Millie. Maybe if we look at the map a little closer, we can find a clue. Then we'll know what to look for.
Yeah, I'd hate to be looking for something bluey when it's really greenish.
Please, who ever heard of a greenish treasure box?
Hello kids, it's Zorko the Magnificent, world's greatest magician. I'm ready here to perform another one of my amazing magic tricks. Now I have a container here, this plastic container, and it's solid, alright, like that. And I've got a card, just any card, and I'm going to make this card disappear. Do you think I can do it? Well, I'm going to put it in there, like that. And then I'm going to close the lid, and wave my hand over it, and then I'm going to open it up and let's see what's inside. Well look, the card has disappeared. Still solid container, but no card. Well, I wonder if I can make it come back again. I'll close the lid, wave my hand over it, alright, and then let's open it up and see what's inside there this time. Yes, there's the card back again, just like we showed it to you at the beginning. Isn't that an amazing trick? One of Zorko the Magnificent's amazing magic tricks. Why did we do that trick? Well, because we've been learning about our treasure maps and finding things, and it's really important that we know how to find things, particularly in God's Word, the Bible. And it's no good not knowing about the Bible, because you won't know where to find the treasures that are in there. And so it's really important that you learn and to use the Bible to understand what's in there. So I hope this magic trick helps you. And so, kids, it's great that you could be here and join us. Until next week, it's Zorko the Magnificent, world's greatest magician, signing off. Hello, kids. It's Sherlock Holmes here, Super Detective, back again with another new exciting mystery. But before I introduce the new one, how did you go with last week's? Remember, last week's was the case of the brave leader. Were you able to work out who it was? If you figured out or came up with the answer Joshua, then you were correct. Well done, because the answer was Joshua. He was the brave leader that marched around Jericho, wasn't he? And so you need to cut out the picture of Joshua and stick him into the top corner of your sheet. So that was last week's. This week we have another new mystery. It's the case of the forgiven fisherman. The case of the forgiven fisherman. So you have some fish there, and the clue is, who was this man talking to me? He seems special. To learn what he said to me, find the 10 fish, longest to shortest, and write their words on the lines below. So you're going to start with the longest fish and then the shortest, and you write the words down there, and it'll give you a clue as to the answer to that mystery. And then down the bottom there's a third clue, and this time you don't have to use the decoder, you just have to rearrange those words to spell, those letters to spell another word. So good luck with the latest mystery, the case of the forgiven fisherman. I hope you have fun doing it, and then I'll leave that with you until next week when we have a new mystery. This is Sherlock Holmes, Super Detective, signing off.